You have got to practice what it is that you preach. That is one of the worst things that you can actually do, standing yourself in a pulpit and saying stuff and then not actually doing what it is that you're sitting up there saying. Is for me, that is the worst. The worst. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag in all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Greenleaf. This is season 3, episode 9. It's literally, it's like 10 minutes to 1 in the morning here. And I said, I'm going to finish watching Greenleaf on my DVR and I'm going to go lay down. But I couldn't go lay down. I had to go do this review right now because this hit home so much with me in this, because one of the things that I struggle with the most when it comes to what you should be doing, as the good book says. No, it's not my whole gay situation. It's not that, because I don't struggle with that at all. There is no struggle. That is what it is. Forgiveness is my biggest. It is my biggest struggle. Forgiving, not holding grudges, and then dealing with hypocrisy. Me in church, right there in a nutshell, it is the thing that keeps me out of the church, completely out of the church. And in this episode, I didn't even really realize it until I sat down and I took my notes, as I'm always taking notes to try to not forget the things that are important to me. Because even though I do my reviews, I don't go blow by blow, scene by scene. I only talk about the things that stick out for me. Do you see all these notes? All of this is all, that's all. I look back at it, Bishop, all Bishop. All the characters that are actually there in this program, all of what stuck out to me were things, every last situation dealt with Bishop James Greenleaf on this episode. I went on an emotional roller coaster with Bishop. You understand me? And we're going to go on to talk about it. First things first. They delivered the divorce papers. Bishop was shook. Visibly shook. Shit got completely real when the documents showed up and there's nothing left but sign it here, she signed it there, and it is done. Shit got real. We figured out right away Bishop doesn't, well, we knew from the last few episodes, he don't really want this divorce. But it was just like so bam in his face. He's like, I don't want this. I don't want this. Fine. We move on. Then there's a situation with Bishop and Gigi. Gigi actually approaches him. No cuteness, no nothing. Listen, how much money did you give Rochelle Cross? How much? He never would tell her how much, but she still, listen, let me tell you something. I don't trust her. Flat out, I don't trust her. Well, aren't you working with her? Aren't you all doing the case together? If you don't trust her, why are you working with her? I'm working with her because I don't trust her, because I want to find out what she's up to. What is her whole point of even being here? Because all I see is dissension and discord. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. That's why I'm working with her. Bishop turned his nose up at that. And that was the first thing we saw, the first talent we saw. Some pride. There was a pride that had hopped up with Bishop, and I said, interesting. Pride. His pride would not let him listen to nor even indulge in what it was that Gigi was saying. He wasn't receiving it at all. I was like, Bishop, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. Next thing we actually see, Charity. She's in her bag again as usual. I said, what's going on here? You got Aaron standing there and Kevin, and they got the baby, and she's in her bag. She's sitting on the couch in her bag. Everything's bothering her. It was just very awkward. Bishop come in. He was a little bit shady. A little shady because naturally he sees Charity in her bag, and then you got these two sissies here again with their situation that's making her miserable. Later on, Charity actually ends up talking to Bishop about it, saying, why does everybody get their fairy tale ending except for me? Kevin and Aaron are getting ready to get married. They're going to buy a house. Stop involving yourself in what they're doing, Charity. You need to let that go. You have lost. You've lost. Your husband is getting ready to get a husband. It's over. You lost. Let it go. You're beating yourself down with this shit. I'm like, child. And Bishop basically told her, listen, at this point, the only thing important is that Nathan is good. It don't matter what you think about Aaron and Kevin. That's over. So that was good, Bishop. That was good. But you were a little bit shady. And Aaron had ended up telling Bishop, my father has called you a few times. And he's like, I seen that. But I didn't answer him. See, because you're still mad. He's still mad that Lionel done fucked May. And it wears me thin how, and that's a male thing. It's again that pride thing. You're so angry. You're angry at May. You're angry at Lionel. Meanwhile, you were fucking May. See, you were fucking her sister. You're fucking her sister. Whatever. Anyway, so he told me, he says, please contact my dad. He has pancreatic cancer. And he's in a hospice, okay? All right, I'll reach out to him. I said, oh, a little shady, Bishop, a little shady. He moves on. Then we see Bishop meeting with Sophia. And he goes to see her. And he picks up on what's going on with her right away. Gigi was like, yeah, go see. When he talked about going to see Sophia, Gigi was like, yeah, please do. He picked up right away on what was going on with Sophia. And he told her, please, come to my Silver Jubilee on Sunday. God has given me a special word just for you. I said, okay, here we go. Here we go when they start talking about God got something just for you. Now, I don't doubt it because, again, he's a bishop and then he is actually her grandfather. So I'm like, but what does that have to do with coming to your Silver Jubilee? But then I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And when I say that God literally did have a word that he actually put on Bishop's tongue just for Sophia, I was like, okay, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. It was one of the best scenes of the night, maybe of this season. One of the best ones. It falls in my best scenes of the season. Okay, so after that, we actually see Bishop coming home. He stays at Percy's. Now, Percy was another one. Percy was something else in this episode. Percy just continued to drop these seeds throughout the episode. I was like, Percy, what's going on with you? You talking about somebody who had a special word for somebody? Baby, Percy was slaying words all on the bishop like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. He couldn't even dodge them. It was just like you got to walk in it. It ain't nothing else you can do. It was deep. It was really deep. So he runs into this woman in the kitchen. And I said, she's a little scantily clad, dressed up like Tasha. She's standing in there. I said, oh, Percy had a whore. She actually even told Bishop, "Oh yeah, he's knocked out sleep. He's done, but I can hang around if you like." He was like, "Oh no, I'm good. I don't want to screw you, baby. I don't want to screw nobody but Rochelle. You can get on up out of here." She went on about her way. I said, "Look at her, honey. She's so tired of whore, honey. She standing there. She looking cute. Then when she put her shoes on, that bitch with the tippet on out there, I said, no, you don't want none of that, honey. She tipping them shoes was about to wear her ass out, honey. I said, bye, whore." So she went on about her business. Then we had Bishop go and talk to Jacob. They talked about the divorce. He basically Jacob picked up on right away. He's like, "You're not ready. You ain't ready." He's like, "No, I haven't signed it. I really don't want to sign it." He told him, he said, "Listen, seriously, have your silver jubilee. Let mama have her day. And then you two go back to your corners. Fight's over." I said, "Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. That sounds about right." I mean, it sounds very simple, but it could very much be that simple between the bishop and the first lady. It could be that simple, and it would make a damn hell of a testimony the Sunday after at church when they tell them that they're not divorcing. But I said, okay. So I said, let's see how this works out. Shortly after that, we see Percy talking to the bishop. And Percy tells him, listen, he told him about Lionel and all of that. And he says, you need to go and see him. You need to go and see him. He said, because very few people that get an actual chance to work things out with people while they're here on the planet. He just may be your chance to work something out with somebody while you're all here on the planet. I said, wow, Percy, that was something, that was deep. That was deep. And that is true. That is very much true. Bishop kept playing around. A couple days, still go by again. I ain't went to see him yet. I said, okay. So we have the Silver Jubilee. And they're having service. Gigi and Bishop have a little slight run-in again where Gigi says, I hope you. He says, you know what? Rochelle's not who you think she is. And Gigi said, I hope you're right. She moved on. After the Silver Jubilee, after the service, Connie looking sharp. That Connie been sharp this season. Connie's greatly when she says, hey, Bishop, I don't know what Maxine and May got cooked up, but they're going to have to really go some to top this today. He said, Connie, this is not a competition. She said, yes, it is. And she just kept it pumping. I said, read the shit out of you. Read the shit out of you, because it is. It is. Both of them are at the two of them is so filled with pride. That whole thing, all of this whole divorce and the separation is all like just fueled by pride. That's all. Pride and unforgiveness. And I'm like laughing at these two leaders of this mega church who can't get past their own bullshit, yet you have a whole flock of people following you. Following you when you're not doing what it is that you preach. How does that work? I said, okay. All right. So then Bishop goes and he goes to his office because he tells Sophia to meet him, come to his office so he can talk to her. And when I tell you Bishop laid something on Sophia that was so deep. And like I said, I think this was one of the best scenes of this season. One of them. He got to telling her a story. And he told her, I'm going to tell you the story of life. And he told her this story about a conductor and a train. And he explained it, and basically the conductor of the train is literally is God. And you're on this train and things ain't going right, and you're making your way, you're beating your way in this path to get to the conductor. You kick the door in because now you're upset. You're pissed. Things aren't going the way they're supposed to go. People are upset. People just, things ain't right. And you see doom and gloom. You don't see no happiness in sight. And you get to the conductor and you got a word or two for him. And you're telling him, what is all this? You're supposed to be conducting this train. Why is this not running smoothly? What the hell is going on? And then he tells you, Sophia, what I need you to do, because I'm doing the best that I can. I know all of what's going on. Everything you've seen, I seen it. I know it's all going on. I got a handle on it, but you got to trust me to work it out. And I'm doing the best I can. But in the meantime, in between time, what I need you to do is go back the exact same way you came and tell everybody that you saw that you were so concerned about, tell them that I love them. Tell them that I love them. I said, Bishop, you better quit playing. You had better quit playing. And then if that wasn't bad enough, then he went back and said this. That's life. That right there, that's salvation. I said, I'm done. I am done. I was ready to get up and run up out of here. Do you hear me? I said, okay. So at that point, I said, man, I'm loving Bishop. And I told y'all, through this whole thing, since this series has been on, I never really paid that much attention to Bishop's character because I always just felt like he was Grammy. But, and I've always kind of looked at him like, is he like a Grammy preacher that you just don't need to be listening to nothing he say? For real, for real. No, he really isn't. He really is anointed. He really has strong faith. He really, really does. Like, he's really that dude, but he's just normal. Like, he has flaws. He does have flaws. But all in all, when you get all the way down to that word, he really is that dude. Like, for real. I was like, man, ready to run up out of here. I was like, okay. So, like I said, that was like one of the best scenes thus far since it's been on. Since I've been rolling with this. Real good. So it's like, okay, cool. So, and I'm looking at Sophia, and finally, something somebody's saying is getting through. And he knew he got through. He knew he got through. So that was that. I said, all right. So then, next thing you know, we see good old Percy again. Percy and Bishop. And it's like when Percy just, it's right up off the top of his head. He'll just hit Bishop with something and bring him to his knees and then just keep it moving. Like, man, you got to love Percy. Percy, you just got to love him. He's just too truthful. Percy told him, he talked about getting older. He talked about tricking off money and how he couldn't really afford it. And he said, well, what do you do with your money? If you can afford these whores, what else you do with your money? He said, it ain't about money. It's my self-respect that I'm tricking away. I know, he said, no matter how good of an actress these women are, they don't want my old ass. They don't want my old ass. And then he brought it right on home. He ain't even pulling no punches. He was like, and Rochelle, what the fuck do she want with your old ass? That whole belief of the whole thing of her wanting to rub your feet and wanting to ride you out, it ain't even believable. I said, oh, bitch. I said, oh, Percy. I mean, he came through with the 1-2, honey, and gut punch Bishop. Baby, the next thing you know, Bishop is in there because you know he got Parkinson's, baby. He shaking and feeling. He was feeling some kind of way, honey. I said, put him right up in his feelings, brought his whole reality front and center. He looking in the mirror at himself, shaking and carrying on. He looked at a picture over there of him when he was younger. Yes, motherfucker, you are old. You are broke down, and there is no way on God's green earth that this young, beautiful girl wants your old ass. Hello, come on through, Percy. And Percy marched on off. Didn't even give him a chance to respond. I don't want to hear the bullshit. You old, bye. Went on. Said, okay. So, next thing we know, we see Bishop. He got out to see Rochelle. Just asking her, what are you in my life? What are you doing in my life? This, that, thing, and the other. They kick it back and forth. She put on her little thing. She get her tears going. Tell him, pull up your app that I showed you about. He pulls it up. He looks. His investments are already making money, okay? So she works it. She works it. She's just a vicious bitch. She work it out. She throw her tears on and tells him, really, for real, who's using who? Who's using who? What, I ain't downtrodden enough for you? You just keep on questioning me. What, you think I'm trying to use you? What am I getting out of this? I ain't getting nothing. You making money already. I'm helping you to make money to get out of problems that you had before you even met me. All the problems you had, I ain't caused you no problems, man. All the problems you got, you had. With your wife, with your finances, and all that here. I'm helping you straighten all of it out. And I'm willing to sit up on your lap, honey, and ride you. What am I getting? What am I getting? Some old limp meat, honey? Who's using who here? And he got the feeling real stupid. I said, they told her. She said, all of you all, y'all are just snakes. I said, oh, well, she really pinned it to you, honey. And that damn Bishop got to, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll never doubt you again. She worked your ass something dearly. I said, oh, Rochelle Cross, you are something, honey. She's a piece of work. She's a piece of work. And by the way, get on down, LaToya Lucky, because you are playing the shit out of this. Worked it out. I said, okay. It was a mess. So then Percy runs into Bishop again. When you gonna go see that Lionel dude? I'm gonna go today. He goes. Then we get another scene with Bishop. I said, oh wow, come on, y'all. Y'all about to take me out. Here, Bishop sits down. There's a woman in the hallway of the hospice. She's there at the nursing home. And she's just pitiful. She really is pitiful. Caucasian woman. And he says, you know what, I'm Bishop. My name is Bishop James Greenleaf. Is everything okay? And she says, yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. Whatever. He says, do you mind if I sit with you for a little bit? He sat down. And eventually she's telling him, I'm here for my dad. I took care of my dad as long as I could. Then I couldn't do it no more. I had to put him in here. And she just was heartbroken about having to put him in there. Okay? Now, there's a whole issue about putting our people away, okay? Especially with black families. It's a whole issue with it. And I've actually lived through this, whereas you've taken care of a parent until you cannot actually, you're not good for them anymore. They need around the clock care that you're not qualified to actually give to them. And you have to make that decision to actually put them into a facility. And black people really are, we got a real thing about that, about putting our people away. We just do. And this is what this woman was going through. And she said, I have kids and I have a job and I can't do it. He needs somebody to feed him and to bathe him and all these things. And Bishop jumped in and he told her some things that I think people really need to help. He told her, what you're doing here is an act of love. The fact that you had a father that you loved so much that you actually went out and you, in search of, found the best care that was available, and then you got that care for him. So, no, what you're doing, you didn't slight him at all. It's completely an act of love, the way that you actually relinquished the responsibility to somebody who could actually do it. So I was like, wow, now this is some things that really needed to be said. There's somebody, I promise you, there are multiple families out there who have heard this, who needed to hear what was actually said in that space. Been there, lived through that. It's that's a hard pill to swallow. Just like the woman said, this love hurts. It hurts. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But sometimes it is necessary. It's necessary. And I said, y'all better get on down with this writing on here. They were the writing on this episode, please. Things that people really needed to hear. I was just done. I said, here we go again. I'm about ready to run up out of here, honey. I said, y'all doing too much on here today. I ain't gonna make it. I kept looking. I said, how many more minutes is left in this? Because I ain't gonna make it. Said, okay. So they went through that. Then Bishop went in there, and then he flipped it on me. Because I was so in love with Bishop at this point. I said, God damn, man, if you don't want him, I'll take him. So I go. I'm like, okay, here we go. Bishop goes in the room with Lionel. Lionel is, that cancer is just eating him. That's a whole, y'all know that's a whole nother spot for me. I ain't feeling it. So I'm like, all right. So the cancer's really taking him down. They did real good with the makeup and stuff. They got him, looking real, pancreatic cancer. They had it down. I was like, all right. So he's so apologetic. He said, I am really sorry. Like 10,000 times over. He said 1,000 times over. I'm so sorry. And Bishop just kind of was like, no, 10,000 times over. And he was really cold and very curt. Like it wasn't at all the bishop that was sitting on the bench talking to the woman. This was like Bishop Greenleaf was still out on the bench. James Greenleaf actually went in the room with Lionel. And he was just so full of unforgiveness and pride, and he couldn't get past it. He was still angry. Like you could see that he was still angry. You fucked my wife. You were my friend. And it went from a friendly peck to the next, you boning my wife. And again, the whole time, you've been boning her sister for years. For years. But you all swole about this piece of caramel that she done jumped on top of a couple of times. And that pride, I said, something that ain't gonna work out good for you, Bishop, because you all in your flesh right now. And I said, and how do you, again, here we go. You ain't practicing what you preach. You just got done preaching. You just had a whole function all about you. And now you in here acting like this? I said, kind of mean, Bishop, kind of mean. I said, all right. So he basically ended up telling Lionel, and Lionel apologized again. He took a real stern, put his hand up on his damn shit, and told him, this is the last time. This I thought was so horrible. This is the last time that you and I are going to see each other in this life. So I forgive you. I said, what kind of goddamn... I thought I had to switch channels and was watching American Horror Story Apocalypse. I said, that was mean as hell. This is the last time we're going to see each other in this life, so I'll forgive you. So you really don't forgive him. You're really forgiving him because you know that you're supposed to, but you really are not. Unforgiveness, pride, and you hold a grudge like shit. I was like, so now I'm questioning you, Bishop. And then he goes ahead and he leaves. He like walked out. Even at it, went on out of there. Like, fuck you, die, bitch. Because that's the feeling that I got. And I know that had to be the feeling that Lionel got. You can die now, bitch. I was like, horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. That's such a bad look, Bishop. Such a bad look. No, man, on second thought, I don't want him. You keep him. Shit. So then he goes back to the office, and he's so angry and he's so in his feelings, and that pride is riding his back so bad. He goes there and he signs them damn divorce papers. Takes the papers in there to May and tells her, you know what? I've signed these papers and here you go. And she said to him, why did you sign them, James? Why did you sign them? And he says to her, and it wasn't combative or argumentative like they usually be. He said to her, because I just feel as though the way this went, I don't own the rights to this marriage. And I don't think I possibly ever did. I said, oh, wow. I said, okay, come on, good. Come on through. Bishop, you being honest now. You know, because what I took out of that, I fucked this up. I fucked this up bad. We could blame it on me, but damn. And he said, now, if you decide to sign them, that will be purely on you. So he took the ball and threw the ball in her court. You know, basically, and I said, I know she could see, because his eyes were just as welled up. I said, I know she could see that he don't really want to do this. And from her asking that question, we know she didn't really want to do it. Man, then May, she's looking at the papers and shit. She opens it up. And then that pride and that unforgiveness that jumped up in her ass. And we see her. And she's struggling. And she go ahead and she signed it. And when I tell you May stood there and signed them papers in front of Bishop, I saw Bishop's fucking knees buckle. He could have just died. You could have bought his ass for a goddamn penny. He did. His ass buckled. He was sitting there looking like a pop bottle already spent. I said, wow. And the two of them holding the ends of the envelope and they both shaking. I said, what are y'all? I'm like yelling at the TV. What are y'all doing? Neither one of you all want this divorce. Why are y'all doing this? Y'all are doing this because you two are so goddamn filled with pride and you can't forgive each other for the shit that y'all gonna just throw everything away, everything gonna go down the drain, and neither one of you want this shit. Neither one of you. Neither one of them want this. None of their kids want them to be separated. What the hell are y'all doing? Oh, I was just so done with them. I said, all right. Then Bishop, he turned around, he go back to his office. Corinne tells him, you just missed Sophia. Yeah. He goes in the office. The Bible that he had given her, she just dropped it back off and gave it back to him. He had told her to hold on to that Bible. Listen, I felt like it was really a punishment. I really did. And I don't know if I'm going too deep here, but I felt like it was a punishment because he knew that he had did some good work. He had done some good work in what he had done for Sophia, and he felt like he had really got to the root and had turned that thing around. And I think the fact that, yeah, you did something really good, but that shit you did with Lionel was so hypocritical and so awful that the powers that be just kick that out. That good works, kick that right on out. Because you went right behind it and did some fuck shit. So, all that good work you thought you did with Sophia, I felt like the good Lord unraveled it. And you'll have to go back and you'll have to work on that again. Because that was too easy. That was too easy. And you was really feeling like you was the shit when you did that. And then you turned back around and you did all that shit you did to Lionel. And I felt like the powers that be just unraveled. It was like, I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that pat on the back when you just got done doing some fuck shit. I ain't doing that. and get, because God has a very strange sense of humor, very strange sense of humor, and He will get you. He will get you and send you on a roller coaster ride that you will not like. It'll bump you up so bad. And that's how I felt that was. Now that could be me. I could have done too much or went too far into this, but I did go on a roller coaster ride of emotions with this. But Bishop, practice what you preach. Okay, I'm done. I've spoken enough. This was an excellent, excellent episode. You all tell me what you think down there in the comments. Did I go too deep? Was I thinking too hard? Um, I'm open for it. You tell me what you think. All right, I'll see you guys later. We are getting to the end of the season. It has been excellent. It has been excellent. Excellent writing, excellent acting, storyline, flawless. It's been excellent. I'm sorry to even see it coming to an end. But anyway, tell me what you all think about this episode. Did I go too far? Was I thinking too hard? Um, did I get a little too in my feelings? I'm open for it. Tell me what you think. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.